CS2 is in right now. Let's have a look.
CSGO is another one of Valve's projects to make money off the popularity and fame of Counter-Strike. Once again, people who don't understand the success behind classic CS gameplay decide to make a sequel that moves away from the original game. As a result, we get a game based on CS lore that reminds you more of Call of Duty. Old Counter-Strike is ugly, simple, but very entertaining. That was a quote from Filip Neokubski from back when CSGO was in its beta.
Legend.
With the release of CS2 hopefully around the corner, I thought it might be fun to make a video looking back at the ways that people used to talk about CSGO while it was in beta. This video is brought to you by SkinsMonkey, a site where you can easily and safely trade your skins. With SkinsMonkey, you can instantly swap out your old skins.
Check it out if you want to check it out. Boom. And use this code if you use it.
The biggest complaint that many people had was that it wasn't 1.6 enough. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I saw in Reddit threads people saying the gameplay was pretty much identical to CS Source. It is also important to note that a lot of the marketing for CSGO led people astray at first, as at the time, Valve was trying to compete with the big console shooters of the era, Call of Duty and Battlefield. Bro,
true, chat, they released CSGO for consoles. I don't think you can play it anymore though, right? I think they shut it down, the servers or something. That is crazy. You can play CSGO on Xbox.
We're used to Counter-Strike having bad graphics, so with the marketing of the game as well as the
You still can? Nah.
Completely updated Source Engine graphics, people thought that Valve were codifying Counter-Strike.
Can you open cases on console?
The initial push for PS3 and Xbox 360 support drove people to believe this even further. Many Counter-Strike players enjoy the game for its differences from these other FPS games, so when they saw CSGO going in a similar direction, they were quick to write it off. However, it wasn't just the marketing and the stubbornness of Counter-Strike fans that gave early CSGO its bad reputation. This game was not good. Recoil patterns in the CSGO beta felt completely terrible. In the very first versions of the beta, there actually were not any recoil patterns at all. Your shots just landed within a cone above the weapon. This took away a lot of the skill of the game. Along with this, the movement felt very slippery and was nowhere near the refined, polished movement that we know CSGO for today. Wallbangs were pretty much a last-minute oversight, with this mechanic being completely overhauled just 2 years into the game's lifespan. The CSGO beta had a fog problem, as in nearly every map in the game was covered in fog. The worst part? This was completely on purpose. Valve made it this way to make the game easier for new players who might be intimidated if they got killed from a long distance.
Chat, I see similarities. CSGO's beta had a fog problem. Right now in CS2 we have a, I don't know what it is, washed out colors problem? I'm telling you, or brightness problem. I don't know, one of the two. Because CS2, it feels very off. I don't know.
What do you do when you see a flashbang coming at you in CSGO? You turn around and minimize how hard you get flashed. Well, in the early betas of CSGO, this was not a thing, and even if you turned around, you got flashed the same amount. On release, many professionals wanted to ban the use of Molotovs from competitive play. Why? Well, they weren't exactly the same as Molotovs today. The original Molotovs could not be extinguished. Oh, and if you tried to run through it, you would be slowed dramatically, essentially forcing you to become trapped in the flames and die. Also, they would blind you for some reason when you're in them, and they also would never airburst, meaning that you essentially always had a magic Molotov. So, yeah, it makes sense that most Counter-Strike professionals would want them banned. During the first year or so of CSGO, professionals gave their opinions on a lot more things than just Molotovs, though. I sifted through a few interviews and found some old takes from players that you might still recognize today. Kerrigan, the current in-game leader of FaZe Clan and one of the most storied players in Counter-Strike history, said that he thinks CSGO is a mixture of Call of Duty and CS Source.
Chat, seeing this is so crazy, no? 2012. The game that now everybody plays, bro. This is when it was in the beta. Pros saying not a big fan.
He went on to add that the reason that 1.6...
It's a process. It just shows it's a process. Same with CS2. If you don't like CS2 right now, it's an open beta. It's a playtest right now. Yeah, on open beta, closed beta? I don't even know. They'll work on it. They will polish it. Calm down.
6 was such a great spectator sport.
And the process will be a lot quicker than what it was with CSGO, because now they have a lot of, they know how it's right.
It was because of its history. The direct quote being...
It's still closed beta? I thought we all have it. Which means open beta, no? You guys don't have it? Ah, okay, then close beta.
It was always exciting to see who would win the next title. I would argue that by now, CSGO has built up that history of its own, although it is important to remember with these quotes that hindsight is 20/20. Another quote I found was from Neo, arguably the best player of 1.6 and a legend of his own right in CSGO as well. In an interview with HLTV.org, Neo mentioned his distaste for Molotovs and his belief that CSGO's pistols were too strong at that time. However, he went on to mention that he liked how Global Offensive attempted to make more weapons viable, with more than just AKs, Ops, and Deagles making up every round. Chris J had a lot of similar complaints to his peers, speaking out against Molotovs, pistols, and movement, but he did note that CSGO's netcode felt a lot better than that of 1.6. Semphis had very specific criticisms of CSGO, giving specific things about the game that should be changed for it to become a more competitive game, while also mentioning at the end that he still had optimism for the future of CSGO. I actually really like this take. I'm not going to read out all of it out loud because it's very long though, so if you want to read it, you can pause.
Reduce smoke size, remove. Bro, why does everyone want Molotovs removed? Unsmokable Molotovs seems crazy though. I like how they fixed that.
Pause if you don't have to. My favorite take though came from the 1.6 legend Heaton. He said that while 1.6 is still more fun, CSGO is Counter-Strike's only hope for the future, and if they want the game to survive, they need everyone to make the transition. He also noted that CSGO had improved quite a bit since the initial beta, and that Valve were on track for a game with the same class as 1.6.
Well said.
This is something that's very refreshing to hear, and the further along we get into the early lifespan of CSGO, it's a take that's heard more and more. Someone who was very critical of Global Offensive in its early days, Taz, stated
I thought Lubanchika.
in an interview a few months after the release of CSGO that the more he plays the new game, the more he warms up to it. He had a very good quote in this interview, and I'm just going to read it out loud. "It seems like we just need to learn new ways of playing this game and forget about CS 1.6 and how perfect it was. We need to gather people and give this game a chance because 1.6 will not come back. I can see that this game is going in the right direction." I don't have the quotes at hand, but it was the pushing of this point by respected members of the Counter-Strike community that made the hardcore 1.6 crowd get on board with CSGO. Thorin, Richard Lewis, Sir Scoots, all of the 87-0 NIP roster, and a lot of others are who we have to thank for Counter-Strike being what it is today. One unified community. It's points like these last few that are really the reason that I made this video. CS2 right now and its new mechanics have gotten a lot of flack from the community, and rightfully so, a lot needs to be fixed. But I think that we can be optimistic about this. Let's look back at these past criticisms of CSGO and see what's changed. The biggest issue that professionals had with early CSGO were Molotovs.
Yeah.
These were nerfed quite quickly into the beta with the addition of the extinguish mechanic. The movement in CSGO was tweaked a lot in the first 3 years to get us where we are now. In my opinion, current CSGO's movement feels smoother than damn near any other game that I know of, so I'd say that this issue was fixed as well.
Nine. Minecraft movement is still on top, but CSGO is probably on par. Or like right behind.
The pistols in CSGO changed a lot in the early days as well, but unlike the movement, they are still being changed fairly frequently. Still, they are leagues better than they were at launch, and CSGO's pistols are generally considered to be balanced. I mentioned before that CSGO's wallbangs were overhauled in 2014, fixing the issues that people had with them before this patch. Recoil patterns were added to CSGO very early on, making the weapons a lot less random and adding another layer of skill to the game. The heavy fog was obviously also removed very early on, with CSGO's modern maps being brighter and clearer than ever, minimizing visibility as an issue. So, in retrospect, what does this tell us about CS2's impending release, and the way that we look at it? Well, in my opinion, it should motivate us to do one thing. Be absolutely insufferable about anything that does not feel as it should. That is how CSGO got to the polished state that it's in today. Complaining. I am all but certain that CS2 will end up being a pretty damn good successor to CSGO, but we can expedite that process by making it clear to Valve what needs to be fixed. Until the movement feels damn near one-to-one to CSGO movement, we need to keep telling Valve that it isn't good enough. Everyone complaining about CSGO is what made it so good in the end. It would help us a lot if we were to adopt the attitude of Heaton and Semphis. We can be optimistic about the future of the game while also criticizing it heavily and drawing attention to its flaws. When compared to near perfection, good enough is not satisfactory. When we look at the precedent that's been set by their past behavior, when we speak out on something, Valve eventually makes it right. Well, as long as it doesn't affect their bottom line. Now, that doesn't mean just endlessly hating on new changes. Legitimately give new things a chance. Then, when you figure out what you don't like about them, make sure Valve knows. At the end of the day, us, the players, are the ones that control what CS2 becomes. It is a beta test right now. That means anything is on the table. Thank you.
Well said.
I hope you guys like this one. Quick reminder, I am still not in the Counter-Strike 2 beta. Valve, please. I kind of need this to keep doing what I do. But anyways, hope I get in eventually. Hope they make the beta public to everyone. Hell, whatever.
Fuck, bro. He even made a tweet and as well commented like, yo, get him in or whatever. Like, we need Penguin. Still doesn't have it. That's crazy. Maybe they didn't see it.
Truth be told, CS2 looks pretty great right now, even as is. I really do like the way that water works. That's what's really enthralled me with the latest developments with Overpass. But past that, yeah. I think that this video kind of has a... I feel like it almost is misleading in the way that it works, because I start the video and you think I'm going to finish it off telling people to stop complaining about CS2.
Yeah.
But no, it's the exact opposite. We should. That is... what we have to do to make sure that CS2 is going to be good.
Well said.
But thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. If you like the video, like, subscribe, all that.
10 out of 10 video as always from Mr. Penguin. And hey, get him into the beta, man. Ain't no